Welcome to another episode of Mafia Family Ties. Today with me, I have Cam McCarty from Buffalo Origin Story. Thank you for coming out.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to meet you in person. Like, I've been a fan of your work on Instagram for a couple years now, and now I get to meet the man behind the account.
That's amazing that you say that, because I have been a fan of yours for a long time, and now I get to meet you. So I've heard the story probably a million times, but sometime, either now or later, you hopefully can tell me one more time, because it's a pretty cool story. And I like a once in a million story.
Change
your life, I would imagine.
A little bit. It was not, I always say this was not the plan. I was supposed to work in a cube for 30 years, retire, move to Florida, and die.
Right.
And so life had other plans.
That's cool. Yeah. Very cool.
But this isn't about me, it's about you.
Okay.
So let's jump into it. So let's just jump into, like, as we begin this conversation, just about like Bills fandom in general, and then we'll dig into who is Cam McCarty. But we're not there yet. So Bills fandom in general.
Yeah.
You're a bit of a Bills fan yourself. What does Bills fandom mean to you? Just put on the spot like that.
Probably more than it should. I get like obsessive about the Bills. I probably, everybody does, especially the last 5-6 years. So for me, the easy answer would be like everything, but then I have to kind of dial it back and go like, the Bills are not your whole life, and you don't have to be depressed when they lose. But they're a big part of my life, and they're a big, going back like many, many generations. Like, my grandpa was a huge Bills fan. And in fact, his name was Bill, and they used to call him Buffalo Bill, and he had a cowboy hat and all this fun stuff. And he used to, take me to Bills games when I was a little kid, and I'd have the snowsuit on, and he would just like stuff me full of beers, like in my arms and my legs. And he would just bring, get me across security. And then he wouldn't even talk to me the whole game. He would just kind of reach and just kind of feel for me, and just, the hand would go down, and he'd just pull out a beer.
You were his beer mule.
I was a beer mule when I was a kid. So that's kind of how it started. And then I became, a crazy big Bills fan. I would say the day where it took over, because I was always a huge Bills fan, but for me, it was the day it like took over my life would be when Sam Adams had that interception return for a touchdown. I get chills like talking about it right now. And
week 1, 2003, right?
So, yeah, it's got to be around 2003, because there's a really close group of friends that I have, and we were all together. We had just met each other. We were at college, and we had just started like hanging together, and we're all, 20 years later, we're all still great friends to this day. And that was like, we were all in the room when it happened, and it just like, it was like cement drying. Like we all became like the best friends that day. And then we, ever since then it was really rocky, and then it became great recently. But that's kind of like the best way I could put it for how my Bills fan path.
Yeah. So made the cover of SI that week and everything.
Yes.
Fun fact, my daughter was born less than 2 months before that. And I remember thinking, she's a good luck charm. She is never going to see a bad Bills team.
Yes, I know. And I was like, the Patriots thing is over.
Yeah.
Brady's never going to go back to the Super Bowl. Right? Because I was like, I back then was like, oh, Brady's such a fraud. Like, he's such a system quarterback who fell into a really good team and got lucky. And, then we smoked them. So that only made me think even more, oh, he's nothing. He's nobody. We'll be on top of this division in no time. And of course I was right.
Oh yeah. We had Drew Bledsoe and we were good to go. Right. So, yeah.
And that was the game Lawyer Malloy came back or came to us.
Yes. Yeah. Like the week before.
Yes.
Yep.
So it was like, oh, everything's just lining up for us. Yeah. And then the drought.
It did for a week. It did that week. All right. So you just kind of gave us a little bit of a timeline there. Early 2000s, you're in college. Favorite player, like all time for you, like going across all of the different eras, because there's been some significant ones in our lives.
Yep.
Favorite player?
I'm going to say not excluding Josh Allen, because at this point it's like not even a thing. So I would say favorite player would be, who have I really liked? A bunch of names just popped into my head. So Bruce popped into my head. Marshawn Lynch popped into my head. I would say Bruce Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Bruce Smith.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one. All-time NFL sack leader, right?
He's an all-time great. And just the way, like, even now, like, just the way he looks, you know, like, he looks like a superhero wearing Bill's gear. You know what I mean? Like, football players, they all kind of, like, have that look. But when Bruce Smith just looked and walked different, the way he looked at people was different. And, you know, not to get off on a crazy rant here, but, you know, with the possibility of getting someone like Myles Garrett, that to me is a juicy thing because, right? Because, you know, he's a feared guy. Like you would go into those games, and I think teams would go into those games being like, that's one guy we fear on defense. And he's a man, like he's a man's man, and he's a leader. And not to put down who the Bills have rolled out on defense, but I think they've missed that guy. You know, they've had that guy in offense. I think they've missed that guy on defense who is just the alpha, like the guy, you know?
Yeah. I think any player on any NFL defense will point to Myles Garrett and say, that's a dude.
That's
right?
a dude. I mean,
yeah.
he's maybe he's one of the best defensive players of all time. Like, to put it in perspective, people are like, oh, he's a good player, he's a great player, or he's a great player right now. Like, no, it's beyond that. He's one of the greatest defensive players of all time. Like, there's no doubt about it.
That letter he wrote when he announced that he wanted to leave, just my goal is to go to a Super Bowl, and I know it's not going to happen here in Cleveland.
I know.
I actually feel bad for those fans, because we've been there, right? As Bills fans, we've been in that Browns fans position, seeing great players just not want to be a part of Chan Gailey's team or Dick Duran's team or Mike Mularkey's team. You know?
We're lucky we have Josh Allen.
You're not kidding. You're not kidding.
Because we've been that team a lot of times. I love the Browns. Like, I have a lot of like sympathy for them, and like kind of like a connection because of that. We're so close and we have so many things in common. So I don't want to see bad things happen to them, but it would be nice to get Garrett.
Yeah. My grandfather was a lifelong Browns fan.
Oh yeah,
and he passed away the year before the Ravens won the Super Bowl. And I remember in 2000, and I remember thinking, oh, maybe that was for the best.
I know.
I don't think he would have enjoyed seeing, you know,
like honestly, like put that into perspective. Like try to imagine that happening to the Bills. Like, you lose a team, they go to Connecticut, and then they win a Super Bowl. Like what, a year later, 2 years later?
It was, I think 96 was the first year in Baltimore, and they won it in the 2000 season. So 4 or 5 years later.
4 or 5 years later,
still, Ozzie Newsome still constructing
I would never get over that.
And,
I would never, ever get over that. It would be impossible.
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers to all the Browns fans out there.
Yeah, really.
Real quick, I just want one more question about fandom. In terms of where you started out in your Bills fandom to where we are now, what are some of the differences that you see?
I think one of the big differences is the relationship between the Bills and their fans. So when I started out, you know, it was contentious, I think. And Bills fans and the Bills like did not get along that well. And there was a lot of criticism. And, you know, we were going back to like blackout dates, which is now seemingly barbaric. But it was the way it was, you know, and people were more apt to criticize the Bills. And the Bills didn't show a lot. I feel like the Bills didn't show a lot of love to fans either back then.
What time period are we talking about here? Just so
I would say like early 2000s and into the drought. I mean, you can count the whole drought in here, you know, most of it. And then it really started to warm up, you know, and winning does that, a lot of that. But I think the Bills became a little bit more like open to like putting Bills, I don't know, like being more warm towards Bills fans, and Bills fans became more warm towards the Bills. Because now it's like there's such a harmony there that, you know, you can't even criticize the Bills or without getting a mob after you on Twitter or Instagram or whatever. But you know, I remember leaving. I remember, you know, in the drought, I would get so upset and so angry, and just go out to my car and listen to like Chopin the Bulldog, and just spend hours listening to people call in and just trash the Bills and talk about how, how could they draft another running back? You know what I mean? Like, how could they have done this? How could they have mismanaged this? And now it's like, there's none of that. I mean, it's like very little of that.
The Weiner line served a purpose.
The Weiner, right? I mean, there's no Weiner line anymore. So put it that way.
We have Twitter.
We have Twitter. Yeah, we have Twitter. Yeah.
So, all right. So let's dive into Buffalo origin story. Sure. Give me a little bit of background, how that started. What made you decide to start this account? What were did you have goals for it? Was it just you kind of like just goofing around? Like what?
Yeah, I would say it was mostly me goofing around. Like my dream was always to like have I really always wanted to have like a TV show. Like I grew up in the 90s, right? So I watched like Tom Green and Jackass, and like TRL and Yo MTV Raps, like I watched that when I was a kid. So I'm a 90s MTV kid. Go ahead.
Quick time out.
Yeah.
Tom Green, favorite segment?
I can't think of the
PG.
Yeah, I can't think of the name. It's not PG. It's the one where he painted his mom's car.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
I think anybody who knows Tom Green.
If you know Tom Green, where he painted his dad's car. Yeah. And then to make it worse, his dad was like, I'm taking the bus. So he drove the car down to the bus station and like kept asking his dad like why he didn't like it.
As a parent, you're like, what did I do wrong
here?
Yeah,
yeah. So I was always like, I would love to host a TV show. And that's how Origin Story started. I was like, I'm into like the culture of Buffalo. I like that people will a lot of times come to me and go like, oh, what's the best place to get wings, or what's the best place to get a drink or whatever. And I like exploring those parts of Buffalo. So I was like, well, I want to put a little bit of a show for the places that I really like. So that's what I did. That's how it got started. I put out an ad on Craigslist. Anybody who knows how to run a camera and, knows sound and stuff like that. And I met this guy named Blake, who's like a really awesome guy. And we did the show for, I don't know, maybe like a year or two. And it was really cool because I met a lot of great people that I would have never met before. Go through the list, but like the guys from Chefs and the guys from Jackrabbit and the guys from Mr. Sizzles, who I love, Casey and Chris from Mr. Sizzles. And that was cool. And then he actually got a new job, and he was like, I can't do both. And I was like, I'm not paying you. We're not making any money. So, it's been awesome. And he put a lot of work into it. And so I was kind of like, well, this is over. Like, this is kind of like done for me. And I had occasionally done some Bills content, but not really. I was kind of like trying to stay out of that lane. And then I started doing Bills content, and it started getting, so it was like somewhat popular, whatever. If I put the right thing out, and then really when it started to take off was one time I put out a meme, and I used my face as the joke. So I kind of was like, it's over anyways. Like put yourself on there and be the butt of the joke. And that did really well. So I kind of like kept doing it. And then it was like, well, that's when it really took off. And people were like, oh, this is unique. Not that other people hadn't kind of like done that style before, but I don't think anybody had done it in Buffalo. And that's when it kind of took off. And I kind of found this lane where it was like, oh, you can kind of add an extra layer to the joke or add an extra layer to the meme or whatever by using yourself. So not, and that's how I got to where I am now. Now it's kind of like all over the board. I might do like a take on something, or I might do like a skit or one of those like old school memes that I always used to do or always do. So
yeah, no, I love that because your content is pretty fresh. It's not just the same thing every time. There's like 3 or 4 different, like, I guess I would say channels of content or types of content you do. And you do it really well. And I know you're doing that blue screen or green screen commentary sometimes. That's great. You do a really good job of taking the comedy end of things, but then also sometimes you'll pivot and you'll just like love on Josh Allen for 45 seconds or whatever on a story or a post or a reel or whatever. So I think you're doing great work. And I told you I was going to pump your tires a little bit.
It means a lot, man, for you to say that because, like I said, I've been a fan of you for a long time. I've always, seen you doing your thing. So it's kind of mind blowing because, it's like I do these videos in my house, and then if they hit the right, note, then people see them, and then people get note of you, and then they watch you, and so it's really crazy that I'm sitting here on this couch with you talking to you because never in my life was I ever like, I'm going to be a social media guy. Like it never crossed my mind in my entire life.
Dude, same.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? So, and I'm honestly like I don't expect it to last that long either. Like I figure it will be years will go on. There's nobody can take that away from you.
Well, I mean, I don't see it ending anytime soon with the work you're doing.
Yeah,
it's
great.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
It's authentic.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right, so you've done a lot of great posts, and we're talking about those. What's one of your favorites that you've done, or notable, or whatever ones you want to share that you're proud of, or whatever?
That's a good question. I always like this one where I was like it's hard to explain. There was like a rhythm to the music, and there was like every time it changed, like my outfit would change, and I was like doing like I'm a game character, like you're getting ready, and I was like you're about to play a video game, choose your character, and every time the music would change, like my Bill's outfit would change, and I would like one time I'd be holding a Labatt Blue, and the next time, I'd be whatever holding a cooler, and like the whole thing would change. So that one took me a long time, and I thought it was a pretty good idea. So, and it was one of my very first ones where I was kind of still in the throwaway mode where people like responded to it, and it was like one of those times where I thought maybe I could do this more. Maybe I could come up with more of these things, and people would like them. So that's one that sticks out.
Yeah, I think I recall that one, seeing that one. Those aren't easy. Those aren't easy to do. They take time.
Yeah, they do.
We did one this past summer. We did a Mortal Kombat themed design, and we all kind of like dropped in as the fighters and everything.
Right.
That's an afternoon at least, and we had it easy. We just put in different people.
Definitely.
You're changing clothes. You're doing all that.
Yeah, it's kind of sad behind the scenes, to be honest with you, because my kids like need a sandwich, and I'm like, Daddy needs 10 minutes to change his clothes and get back to the same spot. So just kind of hold your breath there. It's a little bit of a sad scene, or I'm doing like 2 takes, and I don't really like that take, and then same thing, like my kid comes barging in the room, and I'm like, what am I doing here?
Yeah, that's a balance, right? I probably have very similar stories from over the years, like with my girls growing up. Eventually, you got to work them into maybe holding the phone for you,
right.
So that's free labor.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
right. So
I teach them how to do all this stuff,
Yeah. Just get them to edit and you're done.
Yes. That would be the first thing I would teach them to do,
for sure. All right, so switching gears a little bit in terms of interacting with other fans, what's some of the craziest takes that you've heard from other fans, from other Mafia members, in terms of, because I see you put up a lot of polls.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what your DMs look like in terms of responses to your stories. So what's some of the craziest, funniest ones that you've seen come in?
Man, that's a good question. So that is the polls. The polls are kind of dangerous because, first of all, when you put up a poll, people think that that's your opinion, right? But it's not. So for example, I put up a poll a couple of days ago about what would you do this trade for Myles Garrett, right? I'm not saying I would do that for Myles Garrett. I'm just asking you, would you do that for Myles Garrett? And it was like 2 firsts. This is a lot. I mean, it was an overpayment.
I saw it.
You saw it, right? It was an overpayment. But I was like, would you? Like, would you be that crazy? So everybody thought like, I'm trying to convince you to do that. I'm not, right? I actually thought it was a little bit of an overpayment.
Was that the one with Kincaid, Cook, and 2 firsts? Or was that somebody else that I saw?
No, that was somebody else. It was 2 firsts. It was Russo and a third.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So, whenever you put up a story, it's basically like everybody is like, oh, like you said, like he must want me to DM him my opinion on that instead of just voting yes or no.
There's literally an interactive piece right there. You
right. Yeah, like just the yes or no is good here. But it's like, and then it's just like, are you an insane person? Like, right. Like, were you dropped on your head as a kid? I'm like, No, I'm not saying to do this. I'm just asking you if you would do this. So that's one. And by the way, like, don't put Rousseau in a trade. And when you ask those questions, because people love that guy. I did not realize how much people love that guy. I like him too. He's a great player. But I didn't think I would like offend people by putting him in a trade proposal. People were like deeply hurt by that. So for the people out there who I hurt, I did not mean it that way.
That's your next green screen is you take that DM and you scrub out their name. You're like, listen, I'm just putting it out there. Teachable moment for the subscribers. We're just a few weeks removed from Josh Allen having won most valuable player, which we all know he deserved.
Yeah.
Where's that rank for you as a Bills fan in terms of pride or, well, I'll let you define it, but.
Well, I mean, it like, honestly, it like healed me. I was a broken person, you know? As much as football can break you, right? I went on with my life as normal, but I was like, that stung this year. I mean, you feel like you're living in a nightmare that never ends. I mean, it's like the same thing every year. So the one thing that changed this year was that, and that meant a lot. And the way he handled it was, I thought, beautiful. I mean, literally, I mean, it was beautiful. It was like moving, that speech. Mm-hmm. The way he mentioned Slick Rick and the way he went out, like, you know, to say that, be good, do good, God bless, and go Bills. Like, did he come up with that on the spot, or did he write that? Like, I was really blown away and moved by the way he handled it.
Yeah.
And I hope, you know, honestly, like, I would tell him, like, dude, that you're a young man. Like, remember, like, that moment. Like, try to cherish that moment, because you know, that is a high point of your life. You're sitting there with your fiance, your dad. I can't imagine what his dad, like the pride his dad must have felt. Like, I could cry right now thinking of my son, like, winning the MVP. I can't imagine what his dad was going through, like how proud he was, you know? So for the way Josh handled it, I was like, he's an MVP in so many ways. Like, he just never, he's so great on the field. He's so great off the field. And it's not smoke. Like, it's not me like trying to, like, you know, pump him up because everybody does. Like, I genuinely feel like the guy is such a good person in and out. And it made me feel good to watch him do that.
Yeah. I just will love on him for a second. You know, it's it feels so good to have somebody at that position on this team that means so much in this community, and it not be somebody who is maybe not the greatest guy off the field, because he truly is. And if he is, if this is all an act,
it's the best act
he's
ever.
The best act
it's the best act I've ever seen. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just a nice, genuine, loving, giving guy. I mean, then you see him, backstage with the iPad, seeing the kids and everything.
Oh, I know.
His reaction
one to the next. I know.
It's just,
I know, it's moving.
Yeah. It's just, we're really, you know, blessed to have him.
Have you ever met him?
Briefly once in 2019. He shook my hand, said, "I love what you do." And I was like, "Oh, he knows what I do."
As in, like, you could tell he knew, he know your story and recognized you.
At least 26 shirts. He was familiar with that. Granted, it was at a West Her event, who is our greatest supporter.
Sure.
So, and, you know, he does the commercials and he sees he has our logo on his shirt and everything. Sure. But yeah, just shook my hand real briefly. He said, "I love what you do." And I was like, cool. Thanks, Josh. You know,
that's pretty awesome.
It is one of those things, like, he comes on the television and I turn into like the teenage girl, like, just like this with the hard eyes and everything.
It's hard not to.
Yeah.
It's hard not to.
And even like at the MVP or at the NFL honors this a couple weeks ago, seeing that he was at the event, because the year before he was nominated, but he didn't go to the event. He was in Vegas, but he was at a Barstool event.
I remember it was hilarious. Yeah.
And then when my wife and I saw that he was actually at the event, like on the red carpet, we're like, oh my gosh, he's going to win. Yeah. He's winning.
Yeah.
It's almost like he said, "I'm not going to go." And then somebody at the league was like, "No, you have to go tonight.
Yeah.
Put you right front row." You know, like when he's seated front row and you don't even see the other.
You're like, this is good. This is a good sign.
This is a very good sign. Yeah. Yeah.
I sometimes think about, like, what life, this is crazy, right? Like, we're like talking about this. I've never even met the guy. I don't know him. Of course. And I I sometimes think like, what will life be like without him? Which is a dark. Like it's dark for me to even think that way.
I'm the same way. Already looking forward, not forward, already anticipating the end of this awesome thing we have.
And it makes me think about like, you know, what was it like for other franchises to lose guys who were that important to their city, you know? And then you look and you're like, well, they move on. You know, like take Brady, for example. Not like that things are great in New England, or you take Green Bay, you know, with Favre and then Rodgers. You're like, man, that must have been really tough to like swallow, you know?
Green Bay's done okay though.
They've done okay.
What a run, Favre to Rodgers to now
I know.
Love.
That's my point. Is like they move on. I don't think we'll move on. I know that I will. I know we will somehow do it. There will be, I guess, but even as the words are coming out of my mouth, I don't believe them. I'm like, there will be no life after Josh. You know?
There's a reel. there's a quick little clip we can put there. There will be no life after Josh.
I gotta let this over after
thanks.
Josh.
We got a couple years left, or however many years left, and it's over. He's
that's how much
awesome
he means to me, and everybody I'm sure can echo that sentiment.
Just,
so.
I mean, how do you top that? You know,
how do you top it? Yeah.
Right.
And imagine when he wins a Super Bowl. I don't want to say when, but if he wins a Super Bowl, when he wins a Super Bowl, I mean, it will be who could follow that act?
Yeah. Good luck to that guy. Right?
Good luck to that guy.
Yeah.
Wherever you are.
Yeah. But hopefully he's very young, because Josh Allen's gonna be here a long time. He's not even, he's just getting into football maybe now.
Yeah.
All right. So tailgating in Orchard Park. I see you walking out of the house all the time with your duffel bag or sitting on your Adirondack chair or whatever.
Yeah.
You make it down to the stadium for games. I've seen you post, I love your post when you're in the stands with all the, everybody in your section and everything. Tailgating scene. What are some of your favorite spots or traditions, or share a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I never really, I did go to a lot of games. I don't go to a lot of games, and that kind of recently changed. Because do you know the guys at Game Day Tailgate?
Oh yeah,
John.
Yeah, John. Yep.
John and Abby's there, and
Maddie.
Maddie's there, and the Trainwreck guys are there.
Yep.
So they kind of started inviting me down for tailgates, and I'm not promoting them or anything, but like that is the most fun. That's my favorite.
I've been. They put on a great event.
It is super fun, and like that group of people is like very, very fun easy to mesh with, very fun to party with. So they have been kind of like my recent go-to whenever they invite me. That's why I really started going to games. But I have like groups from high school that I hang with. I went to Pioneer High School, so Chad, Alex, those guys. They're super fun. And I went to the Hammerlot once. That was pretty fun. I met a friend up there. That was really cool. Like I saw the Pinto Ron thing, but I was like way in the back because it's so popular now.
Yeah. It is wild how like packed it gets in there now.
Yeah, and I'm telling you what, like the Hammerlot, like they mean business up there. Like that is a party that starts at as soon as the gate drops. They go hard up there. That's a serious thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I've been in the Hammerlot many a time. Actually, they used to host our early days Bill's Mafia tailgates and everything.
Oh really?
Yeah. But Kenny is just an icon, right? Everybody has to see it at least once. Poor guy. I think deep down he hates it.
So I was watching I was watching your pod with him, and I was like, he was talking about how it went from like his buddy squirted him once, and then it got more and more and more, and then he said once he learned the clean off routine, he's like, it didn't matter. What is the clean off routine?
Well, I can't speak to it. I think one time he described to me, he went down to the showers over the hill behind him to, the ECC or whatever it was, showers they have there. I don't know if that's changed with construction. Maybe we'll have to have him come back on here. He can give us the cleanup routine. God. Because he's not going to post about it. Dude's not even on social media. That's how legit of an icon this guy is.
Yeah.
I don't think he's even on Facebook or anything. And
I know.
Like everybody knows who this guy is. They see him in public.
Little
he's like
by little.
The best friend.
I know, little by little for what, 40 years, 30 years? So he hasn't missed a game. He doesn't miss any away games either.
Yeah, he's 500 plus now.
Which is incredible because, I mean, only Buffalo, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's another Pinto Ron out there, but I highly doubt it. Like to go through a drought and not miss a game. How do you do that?
Yeah. Well, one game at a time, right?
One game at a time. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he was great. Nice guy. If you ever get the opportunity
Did
to meet
you
him.
know him before he came in?
Yeah. I've had the opportunity to hang out with him like dozens of times at this point, just through different, either tailgates or fan activities or outside stuff.
Cool.
Great dude. I love that guy. All right. So as we're kind of like starting to wind down the interview, if you can describe Bills fandom in one word, and I ask this, I think of pretty much everybody who comes on here. Doesn't have to be one word, but that's how we phrase the question.
Yeah.
What phrase are you using?
Oh man. Bill's Mafia? Like how would I describe Bill's Mafia?
Yeah. Just what it means to be a Bills fan. Like, is it?
I would say the one word would be like, this is not one word, all in, unless you like hyphenate it, all in.
Yeah, we'll do it. All dash in.
All dash in. It's such a borderline, like, I was going to say religion, but like way of life here.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know. Like you could go to, you could knock on any house in the 716 area and say, "What's your hobby?" And I would bet you $1 million that they're going to say Bills game, or when was the last time you missed a Bills game? Like whether on TV or at at the stadium, and they would say that's never happened and never will.
Yeah.
If I missed a Bills game, if I missed a quarter of a Bills game, I would probably have a mental breakdown. Do you know what I mean? Can you relate to that at all?
Yeah.
Like I would have the worst FOMO, anxiety, like I'm missing. It could be a week 7 game where we have 2 wins, and I wouldn't even know what to do with myself.
Yeah, I remember it was probably the 2009 season or 2010. It was not a meaningful season, and my daughters were in at one time like like the Erie County something choir or something, and they do all their things on Sundays.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things where, especially back then, it's not as easy to get the information on the phone.
Sure.
And obviously, my children, my family are the light of my life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I wonder what's going on with does anybody know what the score is? Like, is this over with? How many songs we have left? 17 more songs. It's it can be a little dicey there. So.
I was invited to a wedding once during a Bills game. It was a preseason game, but I threw a fit. Like it was bad. I was younger, but
this is like 2 years ago.
this is like last year. And I was just like, who schedules a wedding? Like it's a Buffalo wedding. It was like, how dare you schedule your wedding during a preseason game? Like now I feel like I would be like, that's okay. Like I get it now. But when I was younger, it was like, how could you have done this to me? Like, why would you do that to me?
Yeah, we recently had a family wedding. It was on Sunday, and it was after the Bills game. But it was like, this is very close, a little too close for comfort,
Yeah.
And they're Bills fans too, and I won't mention them at all, Lisa and Travis. But they were like, I was like, okay, but it worked out perfectly. Everything worked out perfectly because they're big Bills fans, and it's just weird how it all worked out. But I was telling Chrissy, like, is this like real? Is that like I can get the invitation like? It's supposed to be like Saturday, right? Not Sunday. Nobody gets married on Sundays, right?
I know. Listen to this. I was at Disney 3 weeks ago, and my friend, I was going with another family friend. He was bringing his family, and he scheduled it a long time ago. He scheduled his flight home during the Super Bowl, and I was like, dude, the Bills are going to be in the Super Bowl. Like, what are you doing? And he was like, oh my God, like I can't, like I'm gonna have a panic attack. Because at the time, we were like, it was a good chance that we were going to be in there. Obviously, you watch the Bills, right?
I catch a few games.
Okay,
yeah.
Right. So you followed the season. We were pretty good.
They did okay.
Yeah. So that happened. That was pretty insane. Yeah.
That is. And then did he have a family that's like kids and wife, or just himself?
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah.
So that's not an easy thing. Like, hey, honey, we got to like reschedule the flights.
No, he was pretty locked in.
Yeah.
But I flew out earlier that day. So, there's like the 2 weeks of media. I was going to just drive from there to
New
Orleans and go all in. Like, if I couldn't get a ticket, whatever. But I was gonna like not even get on the flight. I was gonna drive down there.
Yeah. Well, why would? Yeah. That's good pivot.
I was committed. I was like, that ticket will probably be $5,000. I don't know if that's right or not, but I'm like, that's what I'm earmarking in my head. And I'm like, I'm just accepting that because there's no way even if I go by myself, like there's no way I'm missing this game. People are like, well, don't you want to be in Buffalo? Where would you want to be? Would you want to be there?
That's a great question. I think I'd want to be in Buffalo because I get it. I want to stay. I would love. I get goosebumps thinking about it. Like standing in my front lawn, just probably freezing.
Yeah,
listening to, assuming that you can hear like everybody yelling and cheering in their homes and everything, or standing out in the middle of a business district, or stepping outside a bar or restaurant, whatever, and just hearing all. It would be cool. Yelling and crying and screaming and.
Would you cry?
Probably. Yeah, I would think so.
100%.
I would think so. Yeah. I'd love to find out. I don't know if I would. I'm looking forward to finding out if I'll cry, you know?
I know for a fact. I'm almost crying thinking about it right now. Yeah. So I know that I would. But I would honestly, like, I would love to see, God, if I say this, I'm going to probably cry. If I would love to see, like, the videos of people going to see their grandparents and the people that, like, have died, you know?
So, real quick to that point, my buddy, you've heard of that Just One Before I Die documentary. So they invited me to be a part of that. And then they said, hey, not to be morbid, but like, you know, do you know anybody who's like kind of dealing with something, life threatening or, you know, whatever. And so I referred to them, my buddy Steve, he passed away just before the Ravens game.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Thank you. And really thought like this was going to be like he knew he did not have long.
Yeah.
I really thought like they're going to win the Super Bowl and then like God's going to take him like a day or two later and he will be okay with that.
Yeah. You know, I would go that way. You know, I really would, man.
Yeah. God bless him and his family. But it's just, you mentioned things like that. And I think about Steve and how, he's just gonna have to when they win it. He's just gonna have to see it on the other side of eternity. You know,
that's it. Yep. I'm a big believer in that too. I think that that's the way that it would go.
Yeah. Wow, this has been a very fun conversation.
I didn't think we'd be here either.
Twists and turns and roller coaster. It's been good. All right. Last thing, I guess, because I asked everybody. Somebody is coming to Buffalo for the first time. Again, you probably get tons of DMs and stuff on Instagram on your account.
Yeah. I love these questions.
When they say, what do I need to do? Where do I have to stay? What should I expect when I go to Buffalo
that's
for
me.
a tailgate?
That is me. Like, if you can see this, if you're watching this, like, if you need a recommendation in Buffalo, reach out to me because I know the spots. I feel like I do. You feel like you're one of those guys?
I think so. I feel like I'm always learning new spots. Like
definitely.
I'm always playing catch up.
I don't get out as much as I used to. So if you're looking for like the new club or something, like I don't know that. But if you want, you get what I'm saying, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish your question.
Oh, somebody's coming to Buffalo for the first time. They're going to a game. What can they expect? What are you coaching them up on a little bit to be prepared for?
So, so it can be, obviously it's going to be crazy, right? And there's a lot of factors that you have, because that's what makes Buffalo is like, what's the weather going to be? What game is this? Like game 4 and we're 4-0 or whatever, or are we bad that year? Is it a playoff game? So intensity will vary, but when it's intense, like I would expect the intensity to be high. You're going to see things that you like have never seen before. You know what I mean? Like
for better or for worse.
For better or for worse, be prepared to see.
Your horizons will be expanded.
Your horizons will be expanded. Yes, and I would say. Pace yourself because you get if you're a Bills fan, you get caught up in that moment. It's happened to me before. Has it ever happened to you?
Actually, if before a game, if I have more than one beer, it's very unusual.
Oh, really?
Because I want to be able to comprehend what is going on. I'm not a big drinker really anyway. Like I enjoy craft beer and stuff, but I don't really, party like that. But I want to be able to comprehend, oh, okay, they're in a cover 2 or they're a cover what I want to be able to know what is going on the field. So
sure.
To each their own. I'll never understand why some of the biggest Bills fans want to just get blottoed before a game. I like to comprehend what's happening as it goes on, but that's That's just me.
That's good. That's a good thing. When I was younger, it was, it was like there was no break at all. And I look back.
Well, you're the beer mule, right? You were help facilitating.
That's what I mean. Where did it come from? So, yeah, there was like no break at all. But in my regular personality, like my regular life, like I don't drink that much either. Like I'm pretty much like a, just a relaxed guy who just doesn't really do that much. But then it's like something about the Bills could kind of like turn that off, turns you into a different person. But that would be my advice. Like find your break a little bit, because if you go too hard, too early, you can get in trouble.
It's a long time before kickoff.
And then if it's a winter game or if it's cold, which you got to imagine at least half of them that you would classify as cold, warmth over style every day. Like don't do the thing where you're like, oh, should I wear snow pants because they look stupid. It's like you are one in a, like when you get there, you're 1 in a million, one in 70,000. Nobody's going to care what you're wearing. And you're going to be, 2 hours into a 4-hour tailgate and you're going to be wishing you were somewhere else. And that defeats the whole purpose of it. So pace yourself, have fun, dress for the occasion.
I like that. Yeah. If you want to look stupid, dress like you're trying not to look stupid.
Right.
And then you're going to look stupid.
Right. Exactly. Like if you really want to if you want to stand out, you think you're going to look cool, you're going to look stupid. Right. And, also I like when people wear like ridiculous things. Like I love, this isn't advice, but I'm just saying, I love Bills super fans. Like I think that they're amazing. Like
agreed. Yeah. It adds color.
It adds joy to my life. Like when I walk by, even like I see a new one, I'm like, oh my God. Like I saw this guy's like, I'm Bill's gorilla. Like he's a white gorilla. I'm like, oh my God. So funny.
It's almost like they go to the costume store. Again, throwing no shade because it's fun.
Yeah.
They go to the, like, what's left? All right, well, I guess I'm Bill's Wendy's mascot.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
or whatever it is,
these guys used to, when I was younger, I used to go to games and like there was I don't know if they're still there, Bill's Hulk and Bill's Macho Man. And I remember Bill's Hulk. This is when you could tailgate in the stadium. Like you could still tailgate there, but like you could really go after it up in the stadium, like in the stadium lots. And they used to put on a show on top of an RV. They used to wrestle each other on top and we'd all gather around. This happened for years. I wish they were still there. I don't know if they still do it, but I wish they did. It was awesome.
They're probably in the grass lot at this point. Or
right, they're definitely not in the Bills lot. That's for sure.
No, but.
So let's talk about wings. Okay. You've had wings before, right?
Yes.
You're familiar.
A couple times a week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's top three it.
All right.
You're not afraid to top three it, are you?
No, let's do it. What are your top three?
All right. So.
Or do you want to go back and forth? Let's a little engaging. How about that?
Okay.
All right. So it's my podcast. You go first.
Okay. Top spot.
Top spot. Or three or whatever. Top three. I'm gonna call it the top tier.
Okay. So I'm gonna preface this a little bit. So I live in East Aurora, and like part of the reason that I moved to East Aurora is because barbell, right? Like I love the barbell that much, and I'm talking about like old school barbell, like where old school barbell. We'll leave it at that, right? Not that I don't love it there. I still love it there. I love their wings. I eat there twice a week. But recently, like I've never gotten into this place before until recently, 9/11. I don't think there's anything like 9/11. I think 9/11 is the clear number one right now. Okay. We're good on that?
Yeah, I had it for the first time
a
few months ago. It is legit.
It's insane. It's insane. And
even the presentation, right? Even when the wings come out.
Mm-hmm. I love that it's an old like hole in the wall type. And I mean that, with the
affectionately.
It's a hole in the wall type place. And I love that they make you wait an hour and a half for your wings while you drink beer, drink like, 10 blue lights. And then it finally comes out and then it just hits differently that way. That is my kind of spot. Just like the barbell. It's like the almost exact same thing as the barbell.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the kind of, I'm not normally one of those people that like takes a picture of food before he eats it. Like I know that's a thing. I know my daughter do that half the time. I see her like get ready to eat. When the wings come out of 9/11, you got to take a picture. you've got to take a picture.
You got to just take it in. Yeah, you got to take a picture, take it in a little bit, just like, you know, realize where you are, like be happy about being alive, you know, and you know, it's that kind of an experience. Yeah.
Cash only. It's cash
only.
Like,
my kind of spot. Cash only, you know, old school.
I didn't know that. I had to walk across the street to the 7-Eleven when I was there.
I didn't either. I didn't either. So I did the same thing.
Yeah. So, all right. So in my top tier, because it feels weird saying 1, 2, 3, 9/11.
Yep.
Maybe I'll do a bonus third one because like let's get like a bunch out here.
Yep.
Sneaky good, and nobody talks about this. It's Mustachios in Kenmore. It's a little takeout place on Elmwood Avenue in
Pistachios like the nut?
No, Mustachios.
Oh, Mustachios.
Yeah, it's their catchphrase is "We're right under your nose."
Okay.
So if you're ever
new or old,
they've been probably around like 10 or 12 years. It was Mystic Pizza before that. It was probably something before that, or maybe it was something in between Mystic. I don't know, whatever.
Good deal.
But it's Mustachios now. Sneaky good place that nobody talks about.
Okay. I'm going to throw out there that I recently went to. Apparently been around forever. Looks like it is. Same style, Kelly's. You ever had that over?
Kelly's Corner?
Yes.
Yep.
Super good.
Yeah.
Really good. Beef and weck, amazing.
I've lived down the street from there for 23 years now.
Yeah.
And I think I've only had the beef on weck once, or maybe it was even corned beef around St. Patrick's. It was a long time ago too. So shame on me because I know that's a place.
Good spot. Yeah. I would recommend them.
All right. Let's see. Amherst Ale House has the Crown Royal, I think it's pit barbecue wings.
Wow.
Yeah. Very different, you know, in terms of like, we're not talking about hot, medium, or mild or whatever that they're legit. I think they've like won awards. I know they have because they've signed all over it, said they won awards for it and everything. But
it's an Amherst Ale House.
Amherst Pizza and Ale House.
I've heard that they're really good. I've never been.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And they have a Crown Royal barbecue and they char them.
Yep.
That's right up my alley.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
I'm going to throw this one out there, and I'm not ashamed to say this because even though they are like almost too big to like say like, oh, you know what I mean? Like they're like Duff's.
Duff's, all right.
I don't care what anyone says. Like Duff's is still great. Is like still a good wing.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Duff's. Like whoever says like, no, I ain't going to Duff's.
Yeah,
like,
Duff's is good.
Yeah, they're a top tier for sure.
And they're their own like thing. Like nobody has like you could put 10 wings out. You have a Duff's wing. You're like, oh, that's Duff's.
Yep. Yeah. Right? Especially the one on Millersport in Amherst.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about like a hole in the wall or a dive bar?
The one where they always are like, if we want a free agent, they're always like, oh, that we saw, you know,
so-and-so at
Duff's. Yeah, that's the one they're talking about.
Yep.
Right.
And they have the fries, and you get them, I think it's medium hot, and they come kind of soupy, and then you take the fries,
Yeah, I like the soupy. Like they especially if you're there for them, like they're still crispy enough because they came out of the fryer like just then, but they still have like they like smother them. Only Duff's. There's only one Duff's.
So all right, are we on the last one? Did you do 3 at this point now? I think
I did. Yeah, 3 or 4.
Okay, so I know it's kind of controversial or whatever. Wing nuts. Like I thought you were gonna say that because you said I know they're kind of big because each wing at Wing Nuts is about the size of your forearm.
I know.
It is insane. And they're their own thing. They're not like, in a sense, like true buffalo wings as you expect them. They're fantastic.
How do they get the big wings?
I have no idea. I think it's like human growth hormone or something. I have no idea. Like, where are you getting these? Because there's only like so many like poultry suppliers in Western New York, I'd imagine. You know?
Yeah.
But they are fantastic. They're hot though. Like I don't know where you are on that scale.
Yeah.
If you get medium, it's hot like it is at any other place. Like they are some warm.
I've been meaning to try them, so I'm gonna get that one. Ale House, you said Amherst Ale House, and then Mustachios.
Mustachios, yep.
I'm gonna try those out.
Yeah, that's primarily a takeout place. Mustachios. As a East Aurora guy, that's a bit of a hike.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have you over for dinner sometime. We'll just order, and it's not too far.
That would be awesome.
So
that would be fun.
So when you travel, this is an affliction that I have. If I'm traveling and I'm eating out and it says buffalo on the menu, I have to get it. No, I have to get it. I have to because I have to be able. Cause every time, like, why did I order this?
I'm the exact opposite.
Because I want to know. I want to see. Okay, what are you doing? What is your interpretation? What are you thinking? These buffalo shrimp or whatever it is.
Yeah. I'm the exact opposite. So like, if I don't. This isn't a theory. Like this is a pretty much this isn't okay. Don't hold me to this. But for whatever reason, like if you put a dot in the middle of Buffalo, the city of Buffalo, and then you put a radius of like, I don't know, maybe 50 miles outside of the city, like once you hit that 50 miles, like the wing drop off is insane.
I don't understand
and it's not hard. Like it's not.
I don't understand why it is like that.
You're not baking a cake here. There's
no, it's like,
you know,
my first job, I was like 14 or 15.
Right.
I was working at St. Angelo's in Tonawanda.
Right.
I learned how to make wings there. And then I was working at DePaulo's a few years later from there. Like, this is not difficult,
it's
guys.
Not that hard. No.
Just put the wings in the fryer for 10 minutes.
Right.
Maybe 12 if you want them crispy. And then do a mix of you know, Frank's and butter or however you want it, and whatever few other things you want to maybe put in there. But like, and toss them and you're done.
It's not even hard, no.
That's like a baseline. Now, some have developed their own sauces. They do a great job with it. But why is it by the time you get like to mile 51 outside of the Buffalo City radius, like people don't know how to do this?
I don't know. I don't know if it's because like people don't order them as much or whatever, but I can even forgive you if you get one of the parts wrong. Like if it's not, it's got to be crispy, right? It's got to be like cooked right. But if you get the sauce wrong, right? Some of these sauces people have been making in Buffalo for a long time. So like you're sure. Kind of fooling around and trying to figure out your own. If you get it like a little bit wrong, that's okay. You can still make a pretty good wing. But it's like they get no parts of it right. 0 parts of it are right.
Yeah. And even though like we talked about these different wing spots and like the Crown Royal barbecue and stuff like that. I'm always like just like medium. You know, give me 20 medium or whatever. But I think that part of the thing is that you get out into the world and they think they have to have like 17, 25 different flavors.
Definitely.
And it's like, no, it's just wings. You're overthinking it.
Yeah, you are overthinking it. I think a lot of the people who step out, like you're saying, it's a mistake. Like it's an easy trap to fall into because it's like, oh, people are going to want to try this new peanut butter and jelly wing. I've never had a peanut butter and jelly wing. And I would be down to try one, but.
You ever been to Wing Fest?
I did. For the first time I went this year. Yeah.
All right, awesome.
It was awesome.
We got to.
That's why I hesitated when I said outside of 50 miles.
Right.
There are some really good.
There are exceptions, and all the exceptions come to the Wing Fest.
Yes.
Right. And some of them come to Wing Fest and they're not exceptions.
Yes.
But
double dubs.
Oh my gosh.
Double dub. Like that is like.
Well, they come to like game day hospitality like every week.
Yeah. I've never caught them there. I've seen them on online there.
Yeah.
But I've never, but I was really blown away by how good those guys are.
Yeah, legit. Steelbound, they're not out of town like double dubs. They're like more Elkville and stuff, I think. But like Steelbound is pretty good wings too.
Okay.
So
all right,
good stuff. All right, I think I'm out of questions at this point. So
okay, we got too long, didn't we?
Who cares? Who cares? They can carve it up, or we'll have an extra long episode.
All right, good.
I don't want to fight the flow when you're having a good time
good
like
deal.
this. So
cool.
Thanks so much for coming out, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for keeping me entertained on my phone when I should be doing more productive things in life. When I'm here just doing this, he's got another post. All right, awesome. So thank you for that. You do great work, and it's been fun to watch your account grow. And I know you're on Twitter now as well too. So
yeah, man, I'm on Twitter now, so that's kind of like a little like side hobby. But yeah,
good stuff. All right, awesome. Thanks, man. So much. Appreciate you for coming in.
I appreciate you having me, man. It's good to finally meet you.
Pleasure for sure. Yeah,
yes,
likewise.
sir.
All right,
cool.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.